What's up YouTube, this is Amy's Bro, and for this video I thought we'd talk a little gaming. Specifically, the game that kinda got me to shy away from a genre for a while, and the games that got me to go back to it. Now, let me look at the camera for a second. There we go. The story goes like this. Back in the PS2 days, so we're going back like 2 generations now, there was a little game called Grand Theft Auto. Sure, we all know it by now. Specifically, in this case, Grand Theft Auto 3. Now, this was a game that I think my brother had bought. Or somebody had gotten for him, or one or the other. Anyway. Because I don't remember buying it. But anywho. And he enjoyed the hell out of the game. I played it for a little while. And there was a mission I got to. It was a really early mission. You had to go to... You were helping this cowboy out. All this dude was wearing a cowboy hat. It was like a J.R. Ewing character or whatever. You had to get a car from a bistro, drive it to a bomb shop, and then drive it back to the bistro in 2.5 minutes. Here's the kicker. You couldn't get the car banged up, and if you did, you had to go back to a paint shop. Well, the problem with this was you're under a timer. It's like 2.5 minutes. So the mission frustrated the living hell out of me. I think I may have completed it in all the time that I've done it once. I bullshit you not. So, so I played the game, and like I got to that point, and I just kept getting stuck, and I was like, all right, I'm done. I can't play. I can't play Grand Theft Auto anymore. I tried a little bit on Grand Theft Auto Vice City and a little bit on Grand Theft Auto 4. In both cases, bum bum ba-dum bum. Because I still had that memory, that unpleasant memory of the bistro mission from Grand Theft Auto 3. Yeah, some things stick with you, unfortunately, in the gaming hobby. So, this was all going down. Then the 360 and the PlayStation 3 come out. Now, what was that game that got me back into the genre, or even got me to even think about the genre? Well, it came from this series. Now, this is Assassin's Creed Black Flag for the PlayStation 4. And this is actually the GameStop edition, because of map and ship. But this series was actually the one that made me go, God damn, I'm having fun. The funniest part is I've never actually finished an Assassin's Creed game. But because of my new edict that every game that I buy I must play through from start to finish, this one will be getting finished. And because of my 100% OCD as far as collectibles go, yes, every collectible will be gotten in this game. So, I started playing that, and I don't know what it was about the game. Maybe it was because of the time period it took place in, you know, the Templars and all that stuff. But it was actually fun to go around, you know, stuff like, well, also helps that I also liked, you know, the Metal Gear series. And I know they're not really the same thing, but when you're an assassin, you're kind of like stealthing through, and then you just wait for that moment to pickpocket somebody, or you just take that moment to, but when you're blazing, you just go, oh yeah, good times. You don't know how good a time it is, actually, to be honest. Anywho, so there was that game. That sort of helped. Now, Saints Row had come out, And obviously, the first one came out on the 360 only. The second, third, and fourth ones came out both eventually on the PlayStation 3 and 360. My first experience with Saints Row, actually I played Saints Row 3 for a little bit, Saints Row 3rd. But the one that actually got me into, and this is actually when this was around when my 100% collectibles OCD actually started, was Saints Row 4, which is a game that you either love it or you hate it. I loved it. And I'm obviously not going chronologically here, because before that game there was a game called Sleeping Dogs, but we'll go with this game real quick. The concept of running around a virtual city and wreaking havoc on this alien tyrannical leader. Meanwhile, you're the president of the fucking United States, and shit's just on. It was goofy, it was silly, it was funny. It was meant to be. I don't know how to put it to you. It was meant to be stupid, comical. I don't want to say whimsical, but it was meant to be not taken seriously. Whereas with Grand Theft Auto, while yes, there's some satire, unfortunately sometimes the satire deals with events, and some events may make some people uncomfortable. Like the torture mission that's in Grand Theft Auto 5, where you have to torture the one guy and you're drowning him in water, you're shocking him, you're pulling teeth out, you're doing all that stuff. There are people that legitimately that mission makes uncomfortable. And they have every right to. But Saints Row is just stupid. There's no way you could look at that game and take anything in that game goddamn seriously. What are the chances that an alien tyrannical leader is going to come here and stick you in a virtual simulation? There's virtually none, right? So, but that game was just. That game was what brought me into the Saints Row series, believe it or not. And then I played Saints Row 3 for a little bit. Unfortunately, by the time I got into it, the PlayStation 4 was coming out. Before we get to that game, there was another game called Sleeping Dogs. You may have seen my review on it. I don't know if I still have that one up because I dumped a lot of videos, unfortunately. But, God, Sleeping Dogs. The thing about that game that was so great for me, it's no secret that I am a huge fan of Asian culture. It's no secret that maybe someday I want to go visit, in another lifetime maybe, I want to go visit Japan, China, Korea, that stuff. That's no secret. But the idea that you get to play an undercover cop and you're stuck in this gang war between the Samoan Yi and the Hong Kong police was actually kind of fun. And plus, that was actually when my 100% collectibles OCD kicked in, because that was the first sandbox game I ever 100%ed all the collectibles in it. Ever. Second one, believe it or not, was Saints Row 4. Almost did got Saints Row 3 done before it was time to pack up, but some things, happen. But those were the types of games that brought me back to that genre. Now you'll say, well, they didn't sell. Here's what some people will say. Well, they didn't sell as much as Grand Theft Auto 5 or Grand Theft Auto 4 or Grand Theft Auto 3 or Vice Cities or Chinatown Stories or whatever it's called. And you know what? You're right. But the thing of it is that you have to remember, kids, and I want everybody to remember this. It's not the sales. The sales of the game don't mean fuck all to me. Because what that means is people buy into the hype of a game. There are people that probably bought into the hype of Knack, and there are people that are disappointed by that game. I know because I went to a 24-hour live stream and watched somebody complete that game, and when I asked the person point blank what they thought of it, and remember, they're not partnered with any network or anything, they told me it was about an average game. Now I'm playing through it. I'm up to chapter 5-3. Yes, it is a frustrating mess. It's not one of those games. I think if you don't play that game straight through for it took them over 10 hours to beat the game. If you don't play that game straight through for 10 hours, it's not going to grate on you as bad as maybe it would if you do what this one YouTuber did. Cornjack, by the way, who I just got done watching his first ever Speedrun Monday. He can go ahead and tell you about that, but anyway. But, the thing is, back to the hype thing. The thing is that, yes, Grand Theft Auto 5 sold $1 billion made $1 billion in, what was it, 48 hours or 24 hours, one of it? But does that means, okay, that all these people bought into the hype. And see, here's the worst part. The people that buy into the hype of the AAA games, which, by the way, I always find is funny because when I think of, because I'm someone with a sports nut, when I think AAA, I think a step below Major League and in baseball. But anyway, we look at some of these games, and yes, Grand Theft Auto may be the godfather in some cases of the sandbox. But that doesn't mean that there's not other good games in the genre. Assassin's Creed is one of them. Look at the lineage it's going to have. Saints Row, whether anybody wants to admit it or not, for what it is a damn fine game series. Okay? Sleeping Dogs. I read somewhere that there's going to be a sequel to it, and it deserves one because for what it is, for what Sleeping Dogs was and is, it deserves to be continued. To have that game series around. Great. Bring it, because the more successful game series that there are, even if they're not AAA, the better off gaming is. I want to see another Sleeping Dogs. I want this series to continue to be what it is. I want, Need for Speed to continue to be what it is. Granted, that is one that's AAA, but that's a whole different genre. But still, there are so many great games in genres, and in this case, a sandbox, that I think we need to go look for them a lot harder than we do. You could probably take, I don't know, some people call it one, but you could probably take Yakuza and call it one. And Yakuza, look how long that's been around, for God's sakes. There's another one that drew me in, and granted, I never finished any of them, but the games are just fun. And in the end, isn't that what it's all about? See, we have a genre which needs more than just Grand Theft Auto, because Grand Theft Auto has only come out once every 5 fucking years or so. We need other games to fill in the gap. and people say it's going to be, they're going to be compared to or they're a clone of, and that's fine. But let them also stand on their own merit. Go play, Assassin's Creed Black Flag. And considering it's also the time of pirates, which is, I think, is fucking awesome. Go stealth on someone, take a sword and just stab them right in the fucking back. Yeah, bitch, how do you like that now? Go plundering, go do whatever you have to do. Have fun. Because, while Grand Theft Auto 3 was the game that almost killed my complete interest in the genre, it's games like I said, like this, like Saints Row, like Sleeping Dogs, that make me come back to a genre I would otherwise ignore. That's just something to think about. And it's something I want you to think about tonight. Alrighty? You have a good night, and I shall talk to you all later. Take care, friends.